Alright, welcome back.
Welcome back to Memories, the game. Memory. Game memory.
Darren, you got it memorized?
Memorized.
I don't think
Ready
you
for
got this
another
game
cutscene?
memorized. I hope so. One could only hope, Darren.
I knew there was going to be one, that's why we ran back.
It's Nanomini. Nanomina?
Darkness. Got it memorized.
Wow, she is perfect height. Never mind.
Watching your two childhood friends fight, all because of you. You have my sympathies from the heart. But don't waste your time. We nobodies can never hope to be somebodies.
Oh god, what was that? A speech from a high schooler on his fucking prom night? Anyways.
Oh, it's too good. What?
Oh, dude, that was weird. I watched him walk across the screen, then look down at the recording to see him walk across the screen again. It freaked me out.
Want to help nominate out? How come we're fighting each other? I mean,
Because you're fucking useless,
Rico and I
Sora.
have argued about stuff in the past, but
Could be because you care what happens to each other.
What?
Nah, that sounds dumb.
Don't forget, Chris, this entire game's about friendship.
The whole franchise is about friendship.
Exactly. This one's specifically friendships, but about memory friendships.
I thought this one was about card games.
It seems our memories are fading mighty fast. Sora,
Yeah, maybe we should have left when we had the chance.
I wouldn't have even come in here.
come around and you just talk to it.
you're right. We three were never apart. Me and Riku and Namine.
Poor Kyrie.
Don't worry, everybody forgets about them too.
Poor Kyrie.
So funny, there's a scene in the second game where they're like, "You forgot about us? Everyone forgot about you, Sora." Okay, we're
So
going
true.
to Neverland.
Neverland Ranch, or I didn't even see what the other one was.
Hollow Bastion Castle.
Hollow's Moving Castle.
Hollow's Moving
Should
Castle.
have went to that one.
Radiant Gardens. No, wait, wrong game.
Can we get like a Kingdom Hearts game, but with not Disney characters and instead characters from Ghibli Studios?
That would
Or
be
Ghibli
awesome.
Studios, however you want to pronounce it. Because I would be really down for that, actually.
Where are we now? It looks like we're on a boat.
This is the same boat we got stuck on last time.
Oh, it's too true.
Oh, we gonna get another one? Who are you?
I think so.
I'll wait for it.
Yep.
It's quick. It's quick that time, though. We'll see. Yep.
Oh, I got the key of the beginnings. I learned how to glide.
You have those moments, man, when you're just, you remembered how to glide. Didn't learn, you already knew how to glide.
You're
Now
right.
you remember how to glide. Finding Neverland. I found it. There's a guy named Michael who lived on it.
Topical.
Topical. No one wants to buy that land anymore. Which I think is upsetting because
A
it's a
waste.
lot of fucking land that dude owned. And he had cool shit on that land. He had like a tiny train and fucking a Ferris wheel, I think.
Yeah.
There's some cool shit there.
Freeze! Freeze!
Deep freeze.
Deep Fragaga.
Deep Fragazi. Okay. So has Nominate just been replaced Kyrie in this game?
Yeah.
Is that just how this is going? Okay. Okay. I kind of
I'm glad you caught on real quick.
I kind of figured, like, I don't know, several episodes ago, I just didn't want to talk about it, because, like,
It was too important to the plot.
It just didn't seem all that important, but now that we're still focusing on it, I'm like, oh, I guess this is like the main point of where we're going with the story. Okay.
They manipulated Sora's memories. Is what
And now he thinks that the Manamine is the one.
The Manimine is Manamana.
Manamina.
Don't want to get copyright strikes.
Yeah, we don't want to get copyright
We're too good, Chris.
Too accurate to the source material. Too perfect, Derek. Man, I'm trying to think of like anything.
No, existence has been pain for the last few
Yeah,
months.
like there just hasn't been a lot of stuff. There's a lot of bad stuff, but there hasn't been a lot of stuff
I
worth
don't
talking
really want to talk about bad stuff.
I mean, I'm down for talking about bad stuff, but only if it's interesting, and most of the time it's not interesting. Oh, you know what? I can talk about one thing that was, well,
let's talk about the PlayStation Wi-Fi router.
oh yeah, PlayStation 5's Wi-Fi router finally showed what the setting screen is going to look like for the router.
Okay.
And they're going to have cards. Lots of cards.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
they're little, like, square box cards that scroll across the screen that you can click on to determine stuff. Mainly while you're in a game. Like, imagine this, right? You're looking at the screen, but you push a button, and then the screen from the bottom pops up and blocks half your view of your screen up top. And then
That
you can
sounds
click
terrible.
through your menus. Well, I mean, the game is like... You're not playing the game, you're going through your menus. It's like pressing the PlayStation Home button, but instead of opening up the home menu, it just pops the menu up on the top of your game screen. It looks pretty neat. It has this one feature that I think is pretty cool, but I don't think anyone is going to actually use it. It has this, like, system in place that developers can put in where, like, it will see what part of the game you're on and then tell you, like, how much longer you have to complete that section.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
Depending
if anybody
on
uses it.
Yeah, depending on how much people will use it, like, that'd be real great for us Let's Players, because we can just be like, how much time we have left in this fucking thing? And then we look at it and it's like 30 minutes, Yakuza. And we're just like,
Yeah,
how
take a
about we
shot
just
there.
how about we just pause it here and call it for the episode? But yeah, people have been criticizing it because they're like, it's too cluttered. There's too much stuff when you open it, and I'm just like, eh.
Any menu screen,
I'm
really?
like, it's cluttered if you're stupid, I guess. It was like my reaction. Because like, you have to scroll so far over to the right to see all this other stuff that's not related to the game, and I'm like, yeah, that's why you hit the trigger buttons on PlayStation, it scrolls you like a full screen length to the next one. They had it on the PS4, they had it on the PS3, I'm sure it's gonna make a return for the PS5. Like, if you want to skip everything that's currently there to the next section, you just hit R1, and it'll just jump you all the way to the right, like 10 fucking things.
But, Chris, you gotta remember, that's crazy talk.
Yeah, people are too hard for people to remember shortcuts.
As someone who's been using a lot of Nintendo products recently, those type of shortcuts, great.
Yeah, real nice. But yeah, that was one of the main concerns. It also has the ability to, like, so if I was, like, playing a game, right, I could, like, tell my group that I'm playing this game and, like, screen share with them, and they can literally, like, pin my video on top of their screen, so they can keep playing a game, but also be able to, like, put me into, like, a corner
watch what you're
and
doing.
watch
while
what I'm
playing.
doing
That's
in my
kinda
game.
cool. I like that.
I'm like, that's neat. I don't know how much people are going to actually use it, but I like the feature.
Yeah, I like it too. It sounds cool, but
Because
I don't think I can use it.
I've been there. There was a point in time where I literally watched Nick play Final Fantasy 15 for like an hour because he just like, because I was just hanging out in the party chat and I didn't want to like play a game.
Yeah.
I was just taking Nick because I hadn't talked to him for like months at that point. So we were just hanging
It's been
out.
years at this point.
Yeah, right. It was this is fairly recently now. This is like 6 months ago, whenever the virus started. It was around then. But And, like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's cool. If I'm ever in a situation where I'm watching someone else play a game for, like, an hour, I could also just play my own shit while I'm doing that, instead of being forced to, like, only do that one thing and nothing else. So that's neat. I enjoyed that. What other crap did they have? They had, like, a bunch of... Oh, there's, like, gonna be built-in... This is gonna be great for you, Derek, because you're bad at video games. They're making a built-in, like, you can just pull up a menu that will give you, like, hints on your game, and, like, it will have, like, full video walkthroughs for, like, sections of the game that you're stuck on.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually really dig that, because they're like, so you don't need to go look up a walkthrough. You can just look it up, like, without even turning the console off. And I'm like, that's smart, because I know a ton of people that get stuck on a fucking thing, and then they don't even look it up. They're literally just like, and I'm done with this now. Like, turn it off.
Yeah. Like, my girlfriend's gonna love that if she ever gets a PlayStation Wi-Fi router.
Yeah, dude, PlayStation Wi-Fi router is looking pretty crazy. How
about the Xbox Cube?
We still know nothing about it. Like, pretty much. I think they might have showed the UI, but I haven't seen it if they have, but I don't think they have. All I know about the PlayStation box is that, you know how they're like, it's the most powerful console of all time?
Yeah.
Everyone is super pissed about it, because I guess the main menu for the game, the main menu, right, the, like, starting screen with all your shit and your pop-up menu, I guess that's only gonna be 1080p instead of 4K, and people are furious, because they're like, how dare the most powerful console in the world be able to run all 4K, not have a 4K menu? God, I really want to enjoy the quality of my fucking 4K tiny boxes that show what applications I can launch and ad window, because Microsoft are assholes and put ads on all their fucking homepages.
Like, yeah.
I want to watch those tiny ads in 4K!
I don't get people who are upset about menus being in different quality.
It makes sense. Normally you do it in reverse. Normally you put the menu in like a super high quality because the console can run it at a super high quality. But it makes sense in reverse because if the games are running at 4K and you don't want to hinder the power of the games, then you run the menu in a lower resolution, so when you pop it up, it's not eating as much fucking like hardware.
But how dare you use logic, Chris?
Yeah. And like, most people I was watching were just like, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between 4K and a 1080p menu. He's like, be honest with yourself, you're not going to be able to fucking tell. And I'm just like, you could. You would have to get really close to the screen, but you could tell the difference.
Well, let's be honest, the average observer will not be able to.
Yeah, I agree. You can't see the, I forget what it was, but like years and years ago they did a test and it was like you can't see the difference between 1080p. You know, you can't see the difference between 1080i and 720p. You can see the difference between 720p and 1080p. But I'm like, we're gonna get to the point where eventually you're just gonna not be able to actually see the improvements.
They're gonna tell you they've improved it, but you won't actually know.
Like, it's not like that huge jump. Like, standard definition to HD was like a huge jump. Like, the first time I saw an HD TV, I was like, wow, this looks way better.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. But like, when I jumped from my 1080p screen that was 32 inches to my 1080p screen that was 49 inches, my reaction was, yeah, that sure does look like a bigger TV. Not, wow, this looks so much better than what I was looking at before. We're definitely going to get to that point. Because technically, right, the HD, right, is just determining how many pixels across you have, right?
What it means? Okay.
Yeah, so like, 1080p is like 180 pixels. Oh no, vertically. 1080p is 108 pixels vertically.
Okay.
So it comes down to how close are those pixels determines how good that image is going to look. So ironically enough, if you got like a 4K TV, which is like only like 3,000, I think. I forget the exact number. It's like over 3,000 like pixels vertically, right? And like they're all scrunched together. But the irony is that like if I got like if I got like a 100-inch 4K TV and then put it up against a 1080p screen that was only like 20 inches, the 1080p screen would look better because the pixel density would be because the pixel density would be better. So it would look like a sharper image, even though there's less pixels and it shouldn't be a sharper image. That's the whole thing. Like, they have to make, because I've been saying that, I was saying that before, I was like, there's a limit to 1080p screens of being worth it, and people were like, what do you mean? I'm like, if you get like a 75-inch 1080p screen, it doesn't look that good, because the pixels are so spread out across that surface. That's, like, not really worth it.
But people don't really understand these things. So.
No, they really don't. Take it from a resolution whore. I know what's up.
I know my things!
I know my stupid shit. It's the same thing with, It's the same thing with 60 frames a second. Like, everyone's getting so hyped because the new Xbox is going to be able to play games at 144 frames a second. And I'm like, you do realize your TV's refresh rate is only 60, right? You can't see the extra 124 or 60, no, 84 frames of refreshing because the TV doesn't refresh fast enough for the frames to even be seen.
Wouldn't you need
it's stupid. You need a gaming monitor. You need a gaming monitor that runs at 144 hertz.
That's what I thought.
Which is why I also find it really stupid when PC gamers are like, oh yeah man, I can play this game at 200 frames a second. I'm like, yeah, but you can't see them. They only make monitors up to 144 hertz.
I was telling...
You literally can't see that many frames.
My coworker was is planning on buying a new laptop, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, depending on the game, you might want to play it and blah blah blah. You want a computer that can run these games.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, you know, you can play Quake 3, I think it's Quake 3, which is like, at the time was the highest grade game, like even gaming computers couldn't run it.
Absolutely.
And I was like, yeah, you know, it's like that. And she was like, what? That's a thing? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Like, modern gaming computers can't even run it. Like, top end, like, $300,000 lap computers can't run it.
Crysis.
It's like the only one.
Crysis is the big dog that everyone always talks about. It's it even has its own meme joke, which is, but can it run Crysis? Whenever anyone builds a computer on YouTube, it's just, but can it run Crysis? Because of Crysis is just like absurdly impossible to run. There's a new one, though. There's a new Crysis game for people who are really interested in just having a game that is absolutely impossible to play on modern hardware, regardless of how much money you have. And it's Microsoft Flight Sim.
I've heard that.
The newest Microsoft Flight Sim is insane to run at highest settings. Absolutely, like, impossible.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Dude, it's because it uses real-life fucking Googled
pictures?
Images from satellites projected in real time onto the game world, and it accurately recreates weather in real time. Like, if it's raining in Boston and you fly over Boston, it's raining in the fucking game.
That's crazy, man.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, and you can fly forever. You can, if you wanted to fly around the entire planet, you can. Without loading a new scene or having it to slow down to load in shit. Like, it will just, you can just keep going forever and it will just keep loading in proper geography, proper fucking weather, fucking...
That's actually crazy.
It's insane, and it's impossible to run because of it. You also need, like, an absurdly good Wi-Fi because it's constantly streaming that data to you
yeah,
while
it's
you play
ripping
it.
the...
Like, you need, like, a super strong Wi-Fi and, well, wired connection. You can do it on Wi-Fi, but you need a really good one.
The best Wi-Fi router
you need, like, a really good one. People are too hard on Wi-Fi internet because everyone's like, it's so shit for gaming. Nice. But it's not bad for gaming.
It just depends on the type of gaming you're doing.
No, the problem is that most people who have Wi-Fi routers have shitty ones that were given to them for free by their fucking internet provider, and they give you the shittiest cheapest fucking routers the money can afford.
And then they're only renting it, remember.
Yeah, like, if you get, like, because you can...
You can buy your own.
Yeah, if you get, like, but even if you buy your own, a lot of companies won't even let you use your own fucking router. So, like, Wi-Fi routers get, like, a ton of knock for being horrible when they're actually, like, kind of, can be really
Very
impressive.
good.
Well, because a lot of the problem with Wi-Fi is, like, packet launch and priority, right? Where it's like, you can lose a lot of your packages, and you can lose priority, so other shit will be sent through the internet before Wi-Fi. But if you get, like, a gaming Wi-Fi router, you can change the settings in them to
I've
just
seen
give
that.
you priority over
I've seen that.
everything else on your fucking on your internet. And I mean, that includes LAN connections. Like, you can literally cut the quality of LAN connections to give more power to Wi-Fi priority.
I've seen that.
And you can get crazy results for gaming Wi-Fi. Which makes me want to do that, but then I'm also like, God forbid our internet company would even allow us to fucking get our own Wi-Fi router, because I have a feeling Comcast is not so generous.
No, they're not, actually.
They're kind of assholes. But you can be when you have no competition.
Yeah, because they're like the only place that services most of the places.
Well, there's two. There's two big internet providers. I forget which one the other one is. But they don't step on each other's toes. They work respectively, evenly within 50 states. So, like, Comcast gets Massachusetts, and then the other one will get, like, New York.
Yep.
And, like...
That's called monopoly, even though it's not a monopoly, because two companies own the rights.
Yeah, it's like, this is brilliant. Technically, it would be illegal if they could prove that's what they're doing.
But
But that's kind of hard to prove that. Even though it's very obvious that's what they're doing. Because it's like, why don't you do business in this state? And they're just like, oh, we just don't find it economically viable. And it's like,
Oh, okay.
Okay, I guess that's fine. And they do that shit all the time.
That's why you hear about certain people who like stream for a living, like moving across country to get a better connection of internet.
Yeah, because, like, some places you can only get better internet in, like, certain areas. And then there was Google's fucking fiber optics plan that they put in, like, 2 cities and then gave up on.
Is that what happened to that? Like, I remember hearing about it a long time ago and then never hearing about it again.
Yeah, they were like, it was too expensive to install, and I was like, fuck you, Google, I want better internet, figure it out.
I mean, you already own the internet, so you might as well.
Yeah, right?
I love it. People are like, oh, nobody owns the internet, and I'm like, yeah, Google owns the internet, you silly fools.
They don't own the internet. They just own the vast majority of the internet. You know who else owns the vast majority of the internet?
Who?
Their competition, Facebook.
Yeah.
Literally, the entire internet can just be broken up into 2 companies. Does Google own it, or does Facebook own it? And then the occasional stragglers, which are like, does Microsoft own it? And that's about it. I think my favorite was, like, Google was just like, we want to buy Facebook, and Facebook was like, no, we're our own monopoly, and then Google was like, fine, we'll just make our own Facebook, and that went horribly. No one used it, and then they destroyed it, and now it's never talked about again.
Oh, yeah. Anything else would be, as they say, ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yo, can I bring up fucking, actually, speaking of Google and their dumb shit, you know Google Stadia?
Yes. That
Fucking,
useless garbage thing that they keep trying to push onto me, and I'm like, no.
Dude, everyone and their fucking mother, when that shit was announced, was like, this is the future of gaming, and then I just remember distinctly, I was watching a video of a guy talking about it, and everyone in the comments being like, this is the future of gaming, and I just wrote a comment at the bottom that was just like, does anyone remember OnLive? No? Alright, I guess we'll learn our lesson one day. And then fucking literally everyone in the comments dogpiled on like, yo, that was fucking 10 years ago, and it's gonna be so much better now, it's gonna run fucking amazing, and fucking like, and Google's already cutting support for it. They've already given up on supporting it.
It's not, as they said earlier, Chris, economically viable.
Yeah, it's fucking garbage. It's stupid. Like, they haven't officially cut support of it, but you know they've cut support for it because they just released their new Chromecast. And it's not compatible with Stadia. Google's own fucking product, used for streaming content to your TV, isn't compatible with Stadia. the thing that streams game content to your TV.
That's
Like, they've already given up. It literally didn't even last a year, and they're already like, yeah, this wasn't worth the money. I want to figure out what video that was and go back there and just write underneath my own comment to myself, called it! Just give myself my own pat on the back, like, good job, Chris, you were able to see the future because they didn't see the past.
don't bring up the truth, Chris.
Alright, well, we'll get back more into Stadia's bullshit. In the next part, though, we'll see you then. Peace.